Attention, we'll open up our afternoon session of driver availability. We now welcome Carl Edwards, driver of the number 99 Kellogg's Ford, here into the Media Center. Carl comes into Pocono first in points and with one win so far this season. So, Carl, just talk a little bit about leading the points and your focus on the strategy coming into Pocono's race this weekend.
It's nice to be leading the points. We come in here with not a lot of pressure, just going for the win. We got a pretty fast race car. Practice went really well, and it's a fun racetrack. It's, we were racing at Eldora on Wednesday night. To come here is so much different. That first lap in practice is an attention getter. Driving down to that tunnel turn, especially. So, this one of my favorite racetracks to drive on. I'm glad we're here.
Okay, we'll open up for questions. Please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you. We'll start with Steve in the back and come back up front with Mike.
Hey, Carl. Steve Post with MRN Radio. Shifting, what have you learned? Where are you at on that? How has that gone with you? What's the game plan? I know that there's going to be about 43 different game plans, it sounds like, by the time we get to Sunday.
We've got some different ratios for third gear, and I tried shifting there in race trim in practice, and I went the same speed, shifting or not shifting. So I think it'll be something you can use maybe on restarts when the cars are bunched up. But right now, with my limited race trim practice, I don't see myself shifting very much. There's a lot of cycles on the engine here, a lot of up and down in the RPM range. 3 times per lap, and then if you add another shift in there, there's a lot of opportunity for mistakes. So, to me, I'm going to do the best I can to not shift and have the car set up for that.
Okay, we'll take a question from Mike, then we'll come over to David and Marty.
MikeHenryspeed.com. Hey, with fuel mileage so important recently and fuel mileage being a factor here on numerous occasions, can shifting impact that one way or another?
Yeah, I think you use more fuel shifting. You burp the throttle a little bit in the middle of the corner to get it into third gear, and then you be turning more RPM, and then lifting and standing on it again to go into fourth. I think you burn more fuel shifting. So if it becomes a fuel mileage race, that part there won't be guys shifting. That last run, but you just never know. There have been a couple fuel mileage ones here though that I've been a part of, and it is a tough place. It's a tough place to save fuel at. There are a lot of bumps. The car moves around a lot. It's really hard to run really smooth laps.
Next question from David.
David Caravella, NASCAR.com. Carl, have you guys had any of the issues like Greg has had in terms of trying to get all the fuel into the car? Has that been an issue with you guys at all?
It's a good question. I haven't heard that I think there were a couple times we had issues, but we haven't had those lately. And at least if we have, Bob hasn't made a big deal about them with me. So, but I know right there for a couple races, maybe 2 months ago, we had a little trouble.
And can you talk about how different the pit stops feel now? I guess you got to wait up on the jack and for all the fuel to get in. How different is that from your perspective?
Yeah, sometimes you have to wait, and it can, that last little bit of fuel can impact the race hugely. If you look at our nationwide race at Chicago, it was full, but that was a race that showed you that 6 more ounces of fuel you can win the race, or it can be the difference between winning and losing. So the gas man is a bigger part now than I think they were before, and it's hard to wait on pit road. It's hard for everybody.
Marty?
A twofold question. The first is, what is it like to learn to negotiate the garage? Because a lot of guys come in and their hair's on fire and they don't care what anybody thinks about them. Right. And then they learn quickly you have to care what people think about you. First, what's that like? And after you answer that, I'll get to the second part.
I don't know. I think I might care less now than I used to. But at the end of the day, you have to just respect one another on the racetrack. It doesn't really matter what you think of each other off the racetrack. As long as you have a good relationship on the track and you respect one another as drivers and competitors, I think that's the most important thing.
Okay. That said, what do you think the general perception is of Kyle Busch in the garage?
I don't know about the general perception because I don't. I try not to talk with other people about someone else. I don't. So my perception, though, of Kyle is that he's a very hard racer, and we have got into it before, as you guys all know. But we had our deal at Phoenix this year, and I felt, whether it's I felt that he really was trying hard to set things straight after that. And even last weekend, he raced me extremely clean there at Kansas. So he's just a hard racer, and we have a very good working relationship on the racetrack, I think. I mean, other than that deal at Phoenix, which he came over and apologized for. So to me, we're fine, and we race hard, and it's actually fun to race him.
Okay, next question with Claire.
I actually have two questions. The first is about shifting. You're talking about the restarts, and you're saying that that's where you could maybe use it to make up. But restarts are crazy, everybody trying to compete anyway.
Yes.
Do you see the restarts where the shifting is going to be those that can and those that think they can and those that can't do such a good job or aren't as comfortable?
I forgot till you just mentioned that, how crazy the restarts here are. They're crazy. There's so much room, and everyone can draft and really make things hard on one another. I think what will happen is I don't think the shifting will affect the first lap of the restart, but that second lap, there's going to be guys who you're going to go down to turn one and think, okay, do I stick this thing in third gear, or do I leave it here and try to run this in fourth? And I think it's going to change a lot because you can, as you stick it down into third gear, you can miss that a little bit, upset the car, and really, you could make a mistake. So I think it'll make the second lap on restarts a little hairier.
Second, I thought you did a really good job on Regis and Kelly. You seemed really comfortable. Can you talk about that experience? I mean, you were funny. You seemed to enjoy yourself there, and that was your first appearance, right?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Leslie from NASCAR New York called Randy and said that there was an opportunity to go on the show, and that was about noon on I think it was Tuesday, because I went Wednesday, I think, or no, Monday. It was noon on Monday. They said, "Do you want to go up there?" And I thought, well, sure, that sounds like fun. So my wife and I were out on a walk. She called her mom, and her mom said, "Regis and Kelly, no way, I can't believe he's going." I said, "Well, tell her she can go." So then she decided to go, and my mom went, and we just went up there on Monday night, and it was really fun. We had a good time, and they're really nice people. And the coolest thing about that show is when the camera shuts off, that nothing changes. They're the same folks, and they were interacting with the crowd a bunch and having a lot of fun. And Mark Anthony's a really cool guy too. I talked to him a little bit. I didn't realize him and Jeff Gordon are such good friends, and he's a huge race fan. So I never would have guessed that, but he knew all about NASCAR. Was really pumped to get to talk about it a little bit. So it was a good experience overall. I hope to go back.
Got a question up here.
Kelly did throw me off by asking what the car smelled like after the race. So I had such a great opportunity to plug my Avon Turn 4 XT right there, and I just missed it. But
Scott Walsh from the Scranton Times. Carl, could you just talk a little bit more about the practice session? What worked well for you? What are you going to work on in the second practice session, and how now with the new qualifying procedure this sets you up as being the last car out to qualify tomorrow?
Yeah, we took a little gamble here because qualifying starts at 11 or something like that, right around 11. So we think that going out early is going to be an advantage. But with the chance of rain and the cloud cover that's supposed to be here, we gambled and we went out and set the fastest lap we could in qualifying. So we achieved our goal, which was to be the fastest car. We might have actually done the wrong thing though, because if the sun is out and qualifying goes off as planned, we'll go towards the end, and I think we'll have a disadvantage. So we gambled. Some other guys, obviously, they gambled that qualifying would go as planned and the sun will be out, so they're going to go early. So there's a lot of different strategies that are being played out behind the scenes that might not be obvious. If it rains, though, we'll look great. That'll be wonderful. We'll start on the pole, I guess, but we'll just see what happens. Yeah, we'll a little cloud seeding or something, but I don't know. This is the game now. You got to set yourself up based on when qualifying happens, what you think the cloud cover will be. You try to run your practice that way so you can put yourself in the front or the back of the order if you can.
Any other questions for Carl, Reed, and Mike?
Are those all your 5-hour energies there? Yep. That's like 45 hours of energy. You guys are screwed. And a Red Bull. Oh, and a banana too. I see you're on a health kick. That's good. Yeah, and some speed drink. That's great. You
Mike,
need a cigarette or anything? I mean,
I ate the grapes, though. The grapes.
Right.
Mike Muller on .net and 5 Hour Energy, I guess. We were talking with Ryan Newman about those secret penalties. I guess he got hit with another one. Something like that. Is there a place in this sport for secret penalties? That I don't know. Have you been on a secret penalty lately?
I haven't had a secret penalty yet. I don't know if you could believe that statement inherently, but I haven't had a secret penalty. I've had some good public penalties. I don't know. I guess due to their secret nature, I don't even know what they are or exactly what they're for, so I can't, I don't really know what to think about that. I should ask Ryan, though. I guess you got to be careful what you say around here.
Reed.
Reed Spencer of Sporting News. Well, if you had a secret penalty, you wouldn't be allowed to tell us anyway.
Exactly.
Back to the qualifying issue for a second. As a racer, does it at all bother you or make you think twice that sometimes the best way to manipulate the system is to try to see how slow you can go?
Right. Yeah, it is a little bit strange the way the qualifying procedure has an impact on what you try to do. You know what I mean? I think it's a neat idea, and it's been working for the most part very well what NASCAR has been doing. I think it's exciting for the fans that the faster cars go towards the end. But you get these races where the qualifying occurs earlier in the day, and all of a sudden people don't want to go so fast in practice. But it's kind of an interesting thing. I mean, we talked a little bit about it this week, and it's another opportunity for you to apply some thinking and some strategy. And I think it's another part of the race weekend that's kind of neat for the fans and everyone to try to understand. So I don't mind it.
Okay, we'll take one final question from Jim Utter.
Jim Utter, Shaw Observer. I want to ask you something kind of similar to what Marty Smith was asking some people earlier. At this point in the season, do you think we already know who our group of championship contenders will come from, or is there still time left for that list to grow?
That's a really good question. I have not been paying very close attention to the points, but I have noticed, just like all of you have, that we've had a group of winners. You know, we've had a lot of different winners, and I think that this season has shown us that we're more competitive. All of us are with one another than ever before, and I don't know. I just think there's still a lot of time left. I mean, if you look 13, 15 races ahead, there are guys going to be rolling out new cars and guys, coming up with strategies and guys getting wins and making their way into the chase that maybe we aren't even thinking about right now. So I think it's too early yet, but I think that you could, this season, you've had enough surprise winners to prove to me that it's possible to have a surprise champion.
Okay, Carl, thank you very much for your time this afternoon.
Right.
Good luck this weekend.
Thanks, guys. See you. Thanks for the gun, Mike.